Hello and welcome. I am Sandeep Kumar Sahu. Today we will discuss the important question and answer of power sharing. Here it is. I prepared a most comprehensive question and answer. I will try to discuss all the question and answers. So we will go one by one. The first question is, which language is mainly spoken in the Flemish region of Belgium, which is Dutch language, as we know. The second question, Belgium is surrounded by which group of countries? Means which are the neighbor countries of Belgium? The neighbor countries are France, Netherlands, Germany, and Luxembourg. Question number three, what is the language spoken by the people residing in the Wallonian region of Belgium? So in Wallonian region, French language is spoken by the people residing in Wallonian region of Belgium. Which community in Belgium is relatively rich and poor? So as we know that from the topic, the minority, those who are the 40%, they are mainly reside in they are mainly rich and powerful as compared to the Dutch speaking people. Question number 5, which two ethnic groups are in majority in Belgium? So in Belgium there are two ethnic groups, that are Dutch speaking peoples and French speaking peoples. So in Belgium. Question number 6, which language is spoken in majority of Sri Lankans? So mostly in Sri Lankans they are speaking Sinhala language. And the mention the two major social groups in Sri Lanka. So the main two major social groups in Sri Lanka are Sinhala speakers, which is 74%, and the Tamil speakers, which are 18%. Now we will come to the short questions, which are 3-mark questions. So the first question is, what were the two main causes of resentment in Belgium in 1960? So how is the conflict solved? So in Belgium, what are the two main causes of resentment? Means, what are the causes? Or the second question is, existence of Dutch and French speaking people in Belgium created an ethnic tension. So the ethnic tension between both the Dutch people speaking and the French speaking people. So we will go to the answer. The two main causes of resentment in Belgium 1960 were the following. Two main causes are, first cause is the France speaking community was relatively rich and powerful. So जो France speaking थे वो rich थे और powerful थे. This was resented by the majority Dutch speaking community, which was the main reason that Dutch speaking community were resented with the French speaking peoples, because the Dutch speaking peoples got the benefit of economic and educational benefits much later. Dutch speaking people जो बहुत देर में एजुकेशन और इकोनॉमिक बेनिफिट उन्हें मिला था, सो वो फ्रेंच स्पीकिंग पीपल के साथ compete नहीं कर पाते थे. In the second language, second option, second point is that in the capital city of Brussels, but the capital of Brussels, the Dutch speaking people constituted minority and dominated by French speaking community. जो कैपिटल सिटी था ब्रसेल्स, उसमें डॉच स्पीकिंग पीपल्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड माइनॉरिटी, वो ओनली 20% थे, और द फ्रेंच स्पीकिंग पीपल्स दोज वर 80%. Point number 2, the conflict was solved by recognizing the existence of regional differences and cultural diversity. So they try to recognize the language diversity, the culture diversity in the Belgium, and that is why the Belgium leader took a path, equal opportunity of representation for every community in the government. So government में both Dutch speaking and French speaking को equal opportunity दिया गया, same number of ministers represent किए. Thus there was a vertical division of power of community government formed in regarding the educational, linguistic and cultural issues. So there are vertical division of power between all organ of the government, and they also constituted a community government. So what is the power within the community government? in the community government, they have the power regarding the educational rights, linguistic right, cultural issues. So their community government could preserve their own languages. So describe the ethnic composition of Belgium. Describe the ethnic composition of Belgium. Or assess ethnic problems in Belgium. How each ethnic composition in Belgium is very complex. Assess the region of ethnic problems in Belgium. Explain the ethnic composition of Belgium. So all questions have the same answer. The point one is the ethnic composition of this small country, which is very complex. The population of this country is over 10 million, means which is the half of Haryana state, and the area of this is only 30,000 square kilometer. Point number two, the country is linguistically divided into two main languages. So according to linguistic, we could divide two main languages, that is Dutch or the French speakers, and it's 59% population in Flemish region and speak Dutch language. So majority जो थे वो Dutch speakers थे जो Flemish region में रहते थे, and another 40% Belgium speaks French language. 40% जो थे वो French language कहते थे, and remaining 1% of Belgium speaks German language. In this capital city of Brussels, so जो capital था वो Brussels का, वहां पर 80% जो थे French speakers थे, while 20% are Dutch speakers. So in country, in the capital city of Brussels, the French speakers are majoritarians, but in all over the region, means all over Belgium, the Dutch speakers are majoritarians. Now we'll come to that next topic, which is majoritism in Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka में majoritism कैसे था? Now we'll go to the very short questions one by one. So after independence, Sri Lanka witnessed a supremacy in which community? So independence के बाद which community super power बना, supremacy बना? That is Sinhala community. Name the major religions of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka में जो major religions थे वो कौन थे? That the two religions, that is Sri Lanka. The major religions of Sri Lanka is Buddhism. Sorry, one of the major religion of Sri Lanka is Buddhism. Which country has adopted Buddhism is the official language. So Sri Lanka has adopted Buddhism as its only official language. So in 1956, Sri Lanka announced that Buddhism is the only official language in the country. What is majoritarianism, or what do you mean by majoritarianism? So majoritarianism is a belief that majority community should be able to rule the country in whichever way it wants. So the major community थे श्रीलंका के, the Sinhala speakers, they want to rule the country as they wish without disregarding the Tamil speakers, those who are the minorities. So they want to no respect for the Tamil speakers. They disregard their cultures, values, and religions, languages. So in the country. Next question, question number 5. Identify the South Asian countries where majoritarism is practiced. So South Asian countries, the South Asian countries like India, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, these are some of the South Asian countries. So apart in all South Asian countries, the South Asian majoritarism is practiced in Sri Lanka. Who are the majoritarism practiced in Sri Lanka? How was the majoritarism practiced in Sri Lanka? कैसे majoritarism को श्रीलंका में practice किया गया? In 1956, the act passed recognizing Sinhala is the only official language, and government followed preferential policies that favored Sinhala applicants for the university position and grant jobs. So 1956 में जो श्रीलंका के majority leaders थे, Sinhala leaders, उन्होंने एक act pass किया. According to that act, Sinhala is the only official language. So without disregarding the Tamil languages, they adopted Sinhala is the only official language, and also they favor or the preferential प्रेफरेंस उन्हें दिया गया, गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स में प्रेफरेंस दिया गया, एंड यूनिवर्सिटी एडमिशंस में भी उन्हें प्रेफरेंस दिया गया with disregarding the Tamil speakers. Question number 7. How and when was Sinhala recognized as the official language of Sri Lanka? By passing act. So 1956 में एक act pass किया गया. According to that act, Sinhala is the only official language disregarding the Tamils. Which community in Sri Lanka enjoy majority? The Sri Lankan communities. In Sri Lanka, the Sinhala community are the majoritarians. What do you mean by Tamilism? So in 1980, several Tamil political organizations were formed in Sri Lanka demanding an independent Tamilism in the north and eastern part of Sri Lanka. So in 1980s में वो different press groups और political groups बनाए गए from the Tamil speakers because they also want to recognize their language as official language. They also want some preferential in universities, government jobs. So that is why they created a political group that is Tamil Ilam. They want a independent Tamil Ilam in the north and east part where they are majorly lived. Question number 10. How many years after India's independence did Sri Lanka emerge as the independent? So Sri Lanka emerged as the independent country in 1948, which is 1 year. As we know that India got its freedom on the 15th August of 1947. So exactly after 1 year, Sri Lanka became an independent country, means in 1948. Now we'll move to the short questions. So the first question is, describe any 3 majoritarian measures adopted by the democratically elected Sri Lankan government to establish Sinhala supremacy. Explain how these measures were against the values of democracy. Or, do you think that the steps taken by Sri Lankan government to establish the supremacy of Sinhala will be long lasting? Give your viewpoints. Or, criticize the majoritarianism measure adopted in Sri Lanka government to establish Sinhala supremacy. All 3 questions have same answer. So, describe any 3 majoritarian measures taken by the Sri Lankan government to establish Sinhala supremacy. The first measure is, क्या क्या मेजर लिया गया जिसके अंदर श्रीलंका में जो सिंहल स्पीकर थे दे वांट टू प्रूव देयर सुप्रीमेसी ओवर द तमिल स्पीकर्स. तो फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज दे फॉलोइंग द मेजोरिटी मेजर्स वेर एडॉप्टेड बाय श्रीलंका गवर्नमेंट टू एस्टेब्लिश सिंहल सुप्रीमेसी. सो फर्स्ट उन्होंने क्या किया, 1956 एक एक्ट पास हुआ है, उसके अंतर्गत सिंहला इज द ओनली ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज. तो सिंहला को रिकॉग्नाइज किया गया ओनली ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज regarding the Tamils, those who are the minorities in the country. The second is, the government followed a preferential policy that favored Sinhala applicants for the university position and government jobs. So, government started a preferential policy which only favor the Sinhala speakers. So, Sinhala speakers के लिए government jobs available हुए, university position में भी उन्हें facilities दिया गया, वो facilities Tamil speakers को नहीं मिला. The new constitution stipulated that states shall protect and foster Buddhism. So again एक amendment हुआ constitution में, उसके द्वारा क्या किया गया, जो सिंहला जो बुद्धिज्म रिलीजियंस था, जो मेजर रिलीजियन था सिंहला स्पीकर्स का, स्टेट shall only protect and foster, तो वो प्रोटेक्ट करेगा और फोस्टर करेगा ओनली बुद्धिज्म लैंग्वेज, बुद्धिज्म रिलीजियंस को. जो तमिल स्पीकर थे उनके रिलीजियंस था इधर हिंदू और मुस्लिम्स, सो दे डिसरिगार्डेड द हिंदू एंड मुस्लिम रिलीजियंस, दे ओनली प्रोटेक्ट द बुद्धिज्म ओनली. Second is against, what are the against measures they take? The government measures coming one after other gradually increase the feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils. So एक के द्वारा जो measures लिया गया, जो सिंहल लीडर के द्वारा जो गवर्नमेंट था, उसके अंतर्गत द गवर्नमेंट मेजर्स कमिंग वन आफ्टर वन, जो वन आफ्टर वन दे आर कमिंग, दे ग्रेजुअली प्रूव्ड दैट द फीलिंग ऑफ एलियनेशन फीलिंग मीन्स विमुक्ता प्रकाश, दे प्रूव्ड एलियनेशन अमंग द श्रीलंकन तमिल्स. सो श्रीलंकन तमिल्स जो थे वो एलियनेट हुए, वो विमुख हुए सिंहला लीडर के द्वारा. द पॉइंट 2, The fact that constitution of the government policies denied them equal political rights, discriminated against them getting jobs and other opportunities and ignored their interests. So, as a result, the relation between the Sinhala and the Tamil community strained over time. So, the Sinhala community, the Sinhala leaders were discriminated the Tamils. That is why both the communities strained over a period of time. The distrust between two communities turned into widespread conflict. It soon turned into a civil war. So it soon turned into a civil war between the both Sinhala and the Tamil speakers. Question number 2. Write 3 provisions of the Act in Sri Lanka 1956. What were the consequences of civil war in Sri Lanka? Or explain the consequences of majoritarian policy adopted by Sri Lanka government. Evaluate the steps taken by Sri Lankan government which turned out to be milestone of majoritarism in Sri Lanka. The answer is, what are the consequences means परिणाम क्या थे जो majoritarism policy adopt किए थे Sri Lankan government ने. As a result of thousands of people of both the communities have been killed because of this civil war. Both Sinhala speakers and the Tamil speakers have killed from both the sides. Many families were forced to leave the community as refugees. Many more lost their livelihood. So most of the people, they are forced to leave the country, the Sri Lankan country, and most of the persons also lost their livelihood. In 1980s, after 1980s, several Tamil political organizations were formed demanding an independent Tamilism. So जो Tamil speakers थे वो चाहते थे उनके लिए वो एक special country हो, the east and the north part of India, that is Tamilism. The point number 3 is the distrust between the community turned into widespread conflict. So widespread conflict हो गया. The point number 4 is the civil war caused terrible setback of social, cultural, and economic life of the country. As we studied in economics that Sri Lanka is most developed South Asian nations, but this civil war impacted hugely bad upon the Sri Lankans. Question number 3. What were the reasons of alienations of Sri Lankan Tamils? Alienations, and what was the effect of this on the country? Or highlight the reason for the increase in the feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils after independence. Why do the Sri Lankan Tamils feel alienation in spite of their long stay in Sri Lanka? So questions. So the Sri Lankan Tamils थे उनके मन में विमुखता क्यों थी श्रीलंकन Sinhala speakers के लिए? The first point is, what are the major points? Immediately after independence, Sri Lanka government adopted a majoritarian policy. So as the Sri Lanka got the independence in 1948, initially they adopted the majoritarian policy. They want to separate the Tamil speakers. By 1956 Act, Sinhala was the only official language disregarding the Tamils. And for university positions, government jobs, Sinhala applicants were preferred. So Sinhala applicants are more preferred. They created a favorable conditions for the Sinhala speakers only. And the point number 4 is, the constitution stipulated that states shall protect and foster Buddhism only. They disregarded the Hindu and Muslim languages, which was the Hindu and Muslim religions, which was the main religion of Tamil speakers. And point number 5 is the measure gradually increase the feeling of alienation. So ये जो measures लिए गए सिंहाला लीडर्स के द्वारा, वो विमुखता का प्रथम कारण था जिसके लिए तो तमिल स्पीकर्स थे वो विमुखता और एलियनेशन फील किए फॉर द तमिल स्पीकर्स. This was felt to lead to a strained relation between Sinhala and Tamil that later lead to a civil war, which is the main cause of civil war between both the communities. Coming to the question number 4. Explain 3 measures taken by Sri Lankan according to the Act 1956. Write the 3 provisions of Act passed by Sri Lanka in 1956. Describe any three provisions that act which were passed in Sri Lanka in 1956 to establish Sinhala supremacy, or explain the three measures taken by Sri Lanka as per the Act 1956, or elaborate the three features of Act that Sri Lankan government in 1956. All the questions have same answer. We will go one by one point. The Act was passed recognizing Sinhala as the only official language, disregarding the Tamils. The government followed preferential policy to favor the Sinhala applicants, university position and government jobs. The new constitution stipulated that shall protect and foster only Buddhism, disregarding the Hindu and the Muslims. Question number 5. Mention any three demands of Sri Lankan Tamils. So Sri Lankan Tamils जो थे उनका मुख्य 3 डिमांड क्या था, और how can ethic problems resolved in Sri Lanka? Suggest any 3 measures, or which 3 demands of the Sri Lankan Tamils accepted to meet with can settle the ethic conflict in Sri Lanka for good. Explain. So all questions have same answer. Demand of Sri Lankan Tamils. What are the demands of Sri Lankan Tamils? जो first demand था वो ये था कि the constitution of the government policy should not deny them equal political right. So प्रथम जो demand था, they should also get the equal right as the as the Sinhala speakers, and Tamil should not discriminate against the getting jobs and other opportunities and ignore the interest. So Tamils जो थे वो भी equal opportunity पाए like the Sinhala speakers in government jobs and in university level also. Tamil should also be an official language. As like the Sinhala language, Tamil should also recognize as official language in Sri Lanka. These are the 3 important demands of the Tamil speakers in Sri Lanka. And number 4 is they should have regional autonomy and equal opportunity in securing education and job. So उन्हें regional autonomy मिले in northern part and the southern part of India में, and उन्हें opportunity दिया जाए कि in government jobs and university level, so that they could also be educated, they get also benefit from the government. And number 5 is the trust between 2 communities should be restored. So जो trust है वो दोनों community में रहे, and the Sri Lanka should live in a peace and harmony forever. That is the demands. Come to the question number 6. What are the majoritism? What has been adopted? How it has been adopted in Sri Lanka? Or what is majoritism? How it is increase the feeling of alienation among Sri Lankan Tamils? Explain. So both have the same answer. Majoritism is a belief that majority community should be able to rule the country whichever way it wants, disregarding the wishes and needs of minority. So without giving any respect or right to the minorities, if the majority want to dominate, want to suppress the minorities, that is called the majoritism. Point 2. It has been adopted in Sri Lanka the following ways. So Sri Lanka ने इसे कैसे adopt किया? First, they passed one of the act in 1956 which recognized Sinhala is the only official language, and Buddhism is protected and fostered by the government, disregarding the language, culture and the religions of the Tamil, those who are the minorities. In point number 3, the government adopted a preferential policy that favored majority Sinhala only. The minority Tamils could not get government jobs, or there is no reservation for them. Okay, that is the end of this topic. In next class, we will describe or we will discuss the accommodation in Belgium. Thank you very much.